Naruto grabbed Kurenai and both disappeared in a swirl of flames and appeared back where they started from, and Naruto said, "Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will deal with it on Friday." Kurenai nods and said, "I can't believe she would do that." Naruto sighed and said, "I know. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will meet tomorrow." Kurenai left in a swirl of leaves, and Naruto closed his eyes a few minutes later when he sat down in the hot springs. Sasuke spent 2 days in jail before the council called a meeting. Flashback: the Hokage was in the council chambers and explaining why he had Sasuke locked up and finished saying, "And as you can see, he is a flight risk as well as a risk to any team he is put with." A council member said, "But Sir, surely we can overlook this test since it was orchestrated by Namikaze," saying the last part with hate. The third said, "I gave authorization to test the genin this way and by doing so showed several faults that our previous training left." Another council member said, "So the main problem here is Sasuke is a flight risk, correct? I mean, hunter means don't work as teams usually, so it is not an absolute necessity." The third sighed and said, "Very well, I concede that point for now, but the root of the problem is still there." The one who asked the question said, "Then, how about a compromise? I say you let the council take control of the Uchiha training and responsibility for him." Hayashi said, "I object, the Hyuga clan will not be a part of that." Another council member said, "Then let's have a vote for who is willing to take responsibility for him as well as his training." Another said, "I second that." Followed by several others. The third looked and said, "Very well, all those who are willing to take responsibility for the Uchiha, please sign this document. However, you do not have the authority to order anyone to train him. You may ask, but not order. If I find out that you are, then I will have the one who makes the order give up their seat on the council. However, should the Uchiha flee, those who are responsible for him shall be the ones who will have to take the consequences." As he wrote out a contract and flashback, all of the civilian members who wanted to earn clan respect signed for him to be freed, and all the clans opposed it since they all agree that he should be punished for what he did. After that, they made their request for people to start teaching the Uchiha, and one civilian was removed when he ordered Kakashi to teach him and he refused. However, several of the Chunnies and a few stupid Jounins who only made it to their rank by luck or technicality agreed and started teaching the Uchiha. The next day Sakura was on her way to the team meeting when Sasuke appeared and said, "Sakura, I want you to get me one of those suits you're wearing." Sakura said, "But Sasuke-kun, I already told you that these were specially made so only one person would ever be able to use it. How can I get you one, and why would you want one?" Sasuke walked over and said, "What is this you're denying me, what is rightfully mine? If this is the way you treat me, stay out of my sight." Sakura was in tears and said, "All right, I will see what I can do, but please don't make me stay away from you, Sasuke-kun." Sasuke sneered and said, "You're pathetic." And left, jumping into the trees, leaving. Sakura sighed and thought, how do I get one of these suits? Perhaps I can get Naruto to make a new one if I tell him I accidentally destroyed my old one. The next few days went by quickly, and Friday finally arrived. Naruto walked onto the training ground and saw everyone there since he was 5 minutes late, and he smiled and said, "Sorry I'm late, I had something important to take care of." Kiba asked, "What?" "Cleaning up the hand lotion." Naruto sighed and said, "No, I realized I forgot to tell Sakura about that replacement suit's new security feature I gave her." Everyone looked confused, and Sakura asked, "What new security features?" Naruto said, "Well, after you asked me to make another one for you since yours was damaged, I had the Hokage give me a sample of your blood from archives and put on it." Sakura said, "Why did you do that?" Curious, Naruto smirked to himself and said, "Because if anyone else were to wear it besides you, then it would slowly absorb their chakra, turning it into a bomb that will kill them when it got enough chakra." Sakura paled, and suddenly there was an explosion in the distance, and Sakura screamed, "Sasuke-kun!" As she started to run only for Naruto to grab her and ask, "What's wrong, Sakura?" in an innocent tone. Everyone had already put 2 and 2 together and figured out what happened, and Naruto said, "You act like you gave that suit to Sasuke when you heard that explosion just a minute ago." "I'm sure it was just an exploding tag." Suddenly another explosion followed by another and another went off, and Sakura was flinching each time and started to cry, and Naruto said, "You gave it to him, didn't you?" Sakura could only nod sadly as she saw everyone looking at her. Sasuke came walking up all bloody and bruised and said, "Sakura, it's all your fault, I'm dying, you knew better than to give me what I want." I would never go out with you and think you are weak and pathetic. I would never disgrace myself with someone like you. As he fell to the ground dead, Sakura started to cry and Naruto said you should have told me and I could have saved him. You could have saved him. You knew he was not supposed to get them like he was not supposed to get those jutsu. Confess. Sakura bolted straight up and looked around and saw that she was in her bed and it was still dark outside and Sakura said must have been a dream. As she went back to sleep, however, for her it kept repeating and repeating. Outside her window a figure smirked, releasing the genjutsu she had placed on Sakura after the 5th time, and thought, I sure hope everything Naruto plans work. As she jumped off to find her chain-smoking boyfriend. A few hours later, Sakura was sitting with the others and Naruto walked up and said, sorry I'm late. I had something important to take care of. Kiba asked what, cleaning up the hand lotion. Naruto sighed and said, no, I realized I forgot to tell Sakura about that replacement suit's new security feature I gave her. Sakura paled, realizing it was just like her dream, and Sakura said, Naruto, I gave that suit to Sasuke, you got to save him. Everyone looked at her and Naruto asked, is the suit all you gave him? In an angry tone. Sakura said, no, I also gave him my jutsu, please, you got to save him. Naruto had 2 Kage Bunshin appear and they started to leave, and Naruto walked over to Sakura and asked, why did you betray the trust of everyone here, Sakura, and why did you confess? Sakura said, Sasuke-kun asked me to get him the jutsu. He said he wanted me to show him my true feeling for him and… Naruto interrupted her and said, and you decided to listen to him, never believing he was lying to you or what would happen or that you were breaking your word or your honor. Sakura looked at him with tears in her eyes as the 2 clones came back with both Sasuke and the outfit Sakura had gave Sasuke, and Sasuke asked, what's going on here? Why did you bring me here? Naruto said, someone in the village informed me recently about your little act with Sakura here, about her giving you the jutsu she bought. I set up a test to see if it was true and hinged myself into you to get Sakura to get one of these outfits. Holding the suit. Naruto then said, I had a genjutsu placed on you last night while you slept so that way you would dream about Sasuke dying from the security features. In this you have betrayed my trust in you. What do you have to say for yourself? Sakura got mad and said, you tricked me. I hate you. As she tried to hit Naruto. Naruto blocked her punch and threw her into Sasuke and said, I should have you kicked off of this team, Sakura. Kiba said, wait, don't do it. Interrupting Naruto. Naruto looked at Kiba and said, why? Kiba thought a moment and said, those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. You can't abandon Sakura off of our team. Naruto said, is that so? Then do you all feel the same way as Kiba? Sakura looked at Kiba shocked and then saw the others slowly nodding their head. Naruto said, what about you, Uchiha, do you feel that way after all? This whole mess is your fault for having Sakura be your little spy. Sasuke said, whatever, I don't care about her. She's useless to me now. As he dropped her and started to walk away. A clone appeared and said, you're not going anywhere until this is solved, Sasuke. Naruto said, I see well who here thinks Sakura should be punished. Ino said, you done enough, Naruto. Making her see the death of Sasuke and tricking her like that. Naruto said, really? So tell me, Ino, if Sasuke walked up to Sakura tomorrow and asked her to steal your family jutsu for him, do you think she would do it? Sakura said, of course not. She's my friend. Naruto said, and yet that's what you did to me, Sakura. Remember I told you all those jutsu were my jutsu that I created. What's the difference between a friend and a teammate to you, huh? Sakura said, you are no teammate, you're just a spoiled rich kid who likes acting like you're better than everyone. Come on, everyone thinks it. I mean, remember the 3 tests back in the academy you had to try and show Sasuke up. You bragged to everyone about how much money you had and what business you owned. Naruto looked at her as she got more courage, seeing no one disagreeing with her, and said, and think about the final test in the academy, or when you pulled that prank on Sasuke with the puppets, or how you keep going out of your way to put Sasuke down, and then me when you had those clones try and rape me, and then with making me think Sasuke dead and tricking me. You get off by hurting me and Sasuke because of those people you told us who hurt you. Remember everyone when he showed us that scar on his chest. I am sure you all remember his little story, right? You're getting revenge on them through us. Naruto saw everyone looking and said, alright, you think I am picking on you and Sasuke because I want revenge, huh? Tell me how many of you agree with them, and sensei don't say anything. I want to see what the team feels. Ino said, I agree with forehead. You have been picking on them. Naruto said, does anyone disagree? Naruto waited several moments and Sakura got a smirk on her face along with Sasuke, and Naruto said, alright. So what do you think I should do about you breaking the rules, Sakura? I mean, you know it was wrong of me to punish you for giving my secrets away for Sasuke. Sakura said, so what? No one got hurt about it. Naruto said, is that so? Does anyone disagree with Sakura? Sasuke said, of course they don't. She's told me about how you act like you're our boss, and everyone has to agree with you. Ino said, that's right, you do, Naruto. Seeing her friend and Sasuke putting Naruto in his place. Naruto said, that's enough. As he unleashed enough ki to even affect the Jounins. He then said, now does anyone here think that Sakura giving Sasuke those jutsu and also the outfit to who she thought was Sasuke was wrong? Tell me, since no one got hurt, was it wrong? Kiba said, no man, it's not wrong since no one got hurt. I mean, it's just some jutsu. Naruto said, really, does anyone disagree? Shikamaru, Shino and Hinata and Neji all raised their hands and Naruto said, so 4 of you disagree with them and 7 of you agree. Tenten said, wait, I don't agree or disagree. I mean that what's wrong with wanting to learn new skills? Isn't that what we are supposed to do to get stronger? Lee said, I agree with Tenten. Naruto said, what about you, Choji, what do you think? Choji looked at Shikamaru and Ino said, come on, Choji-kun, you know he's blowing this way out of proportions and is only doing this to hurt Sasuke and Sakura. Choji bit his lip and said, alright, Ino-chan, I agree with you. Naruto said, so that means we have 4 who disagree, 2 who are neutral, and 5 who agree. Very well. You live with the choices. So what time do we meet on Monday, Kakashi-sensei? Everyone looked confused except Kakashi said, I understand. Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke meet at the Memorial Stone on Monday at 7 a.m. Team 7 is dismissed. As he left in a swirl of leaves. Naruto grabbed the extra suit dismissing his clones and left in a swirl of flames. Ino asked what's going on. Asuma put out his cigarette and said, I am disappointed in some of you. You want to know what just happened? It's simple. The joint team has just been disbanded. Kiba said, what? Asuma said, think about it, Kiba, those jutsu Sakura has been giving to Sasuke are Naruto's clan jutsu. He has been going out of his way to be friends with you and everyone, and then Sakura, you, Ino, Choji and Sasuke all here throw it in his face and act like it's not a bad thing. Is it only wrong if it's to someone else's clan who are getting hurt? If so, I think you're all going to be lousy clan heads when you grow up. Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, meet me at Training Ground 10 on Monday at 8 a.m. As he walked away, Kurenai looked at Kiba sadly and said, Team 8 meet at Training Ground 8 Monday at 8 a.m. As she left to catch up with Asuma. Guy, who sighed, said, Team 9 meet at our usual training ground Monday at 5 a.m. That is all till then. As he started to walk away. Once all the sensei are gone, Ino said, but what about the jutsu we were going to buy? Shikamaru said, troublesome. Don't you get it, Ino, there are no more jutsu to buy. Thanks to Sakura, Sasuke, and you, all of us are now going to have to suffer. Kiba said, hey, you can't blame just those 3. Neji said, yes he can. The only reason you and Choji have agreed with those 3 is because you like Sakura, and Ino convinced Choji by acting like she liked him. She acted as nothing more than a slut, just like all the other Uchiha whores. Choji said, you can't talk about Ino like that. Neji activated his bloodline and said, you are nothing but common trash. You bent your will to try and impress the blonde even when you knew she was wrong. Had you stood your ground like a real man on your own 2 feet, then this would not have happened. Perhaps the faith Naruto-sama had in you was solely misplaced. Perhaps you should just go back and eat yourself till you're old and fat. As he turned and started to walk away. Choji said, nobody calls me fat. As he charged at Neji. Niji ducked under the charging Choji punch and sent a palm strike to his stomach as Choji fell to the ground and Ino screamed Choji as she ran over to him. Niji glared down at both Ino and Choji and said, just look at you. Right where you should be since you're both lower than trash. As he walked away. To say everyone was shocked who were not Niji teammates or Hinata would be an understatement. They had never seen Niji pissed side before. Especially when it was someone he respected like Naruto. Lee and Tenten both turned and left following him. Sakura said, see, Sasuke-kun and I were right. This is all Naruto's fault. Kiba looked at Sakura and for the first time saw her in a different light and thought, why did I agree with her? Even after all this, she's still Sasuke loyal bitch. I should have kept my mouth shut. He turned and saw Shino and Hinata looking at him and he said, hey guys. Look, I'm sorry about. Shino said, what's done is done. All we can do now is go forward from here. Kiba nods and the three of them left together. Shikamaru helped Choji up and said, come on, let's get you to the hospital. As he put Choji's arm over his shoulder to help keep weight off of the area he was hit. Ino looked at Choji and heard in her head, the only reason you and Choji have agreed with those three is because you like Sakura, and Ino convinced Choji by acting like she liked him. She acted as nothing more than a slut, just like all the other Uchiha whores. You can't talk about Ino like that. Just look at you. Right where you should be since you're both lower than trash. She thought, did I really do that for Sakura and Sasuke? I knew she was wrong and I convinced Choji to agree with me by teasing his feeling. I know he likes me, but... Oh Choji, I'm so sorry. As she helped Choji to the hospital. Choji saw the tear on Ino's face and said, don't cry Ino, flowers don't cry. Ino looked at him and gave a small smile and thought, he always tries to make me happy. And said, Choji, when you get out of the hospital, how about I take you out? Shikamaru's face faltered and muttered, troublesome. As he got back to helping Choji. Back in the clearing, Sakura said, this is all Naruto's fault. Sasuke-kun, what should we do? Sasuke looked at her and said, there is no we. As he walked away. A month has went by since that fateful day in which Naruto basically disbanded the teams. Kakashi sighed as he looked over at the teens he had sitting on the bridge. Kakashi thought, so much potential all wasted because of a love-sick fangirl. I want to kill them both myself, but I can't. This is no real team. In fact, that's why we have only done one D-rank mission a day, so both Naruto and I can leave those two alone. At least the real me and the real Naruto are not here. As he walked over and said, sorry, I am late. I got lost on the road of life. Sakura screamed, liar. Sasuke had his arms crossed and said, so, when are you finally going to teach us something? Ever since the dope here forced us back into individual teams, all ninja in the village have been ordered not to teach me anything since you are now my official sensei. Kakashi looked up from his book and said, you say something. A vein appeared on Sasuke's head and he looked at Naruto and said, fight me. Kakashi said, touch him and I will have your eyes removed and transplanted Uchiha, as well as having Tsunade rip off your balls. Never looking up. Sakura said, but sensei. Kakashi said, shut it, Banshee. You have no right to speak to me after what you did. I don't even consider you a ninja, and the reason we only do one D-rank mission a day and never do anything more is because of how weak you are as a liability. Now let's do this mission so the only two ninja here can leave the two useless failures behind, a useless fangirl and a failure of an Uchiha who can't even activate his own bloodline. As he turned and started walking toward the tower with Naruto, who looked bored reading a book beside him. Across town on another training field, teammate were all panting and Kurenai said, okay, that's enough stealth and evading for today. Kiba said as he sat on his, but sensei, why can't we learn any more useful stuff? Kurenai looked at Kiba and said, I am sorry Kiba, but you have more jutsu knowledge than most newly appointed chunnies. In fact, there is nothing else I can teach you besides stealth, endurance, and genjutsu. Kiba groaned and said, damn, I wish Naruto never broke the team up. Kurenai sighed and said, we had this talk already Kiba. Kiba said, I know, and it's my fault along with Ino and Sakura, but still I hate this. I tried to find Naruto and say I am sorry, but when he's not on missions he never leaves his apartment and I can't get in to see him because of the security there. Hell, I don't even think he leaves to eat anymore. Hinata looked at Kiba and said we need to do something. Besides, Kakashi, I don't think he speaks to anyone either. Just then Umbu appeared and said orders from the Hokage, all citizens and ninja of Konoha are to meet at the Hokage Tower in an hour for a town meeting. As he left in a swirl of leaves. Similar scenes were taking place all over the village as the word was spread about the meeting. As Team 7 made it to the tower, Kakashi saw a crowd forming and saw Guy standing near the back and walked over toward him and asked what's going on here, Guy. Guy said the Hokage is calling a meeting that should start in about 15 minutes. All missions are on hold until then and it is for the entire village. Naruto raised an eyebrow and asked any idea what the old man's up to. Neji said no. All we know are Umbu are alerting the entire village. Just then an Umbu appeared beside Kakashi and said excuse me Kakashi, but the Hokage requests that your team come to his office. Kakashi nods and said well, I guess we will find out why shortly, come on team. As he began walking toward the tower. When Team 7 walked into the Hokage office, Naruto eyes got wide a moment and said Nan Angel, what are you both doing here? The third said you can talk later, Naruto, you may proceed Nan. Naruto looked at Nan and she looked at Sasuke and said hello little brother. As she activated her Sharingan. Sasuke eyes got wide and tried to move his mouth but found he could not because a kunai was pressed against his neck by Angel. Sakura screamed Sasuke-kun. Seeing this happen. Nan walked forward going through a lot of hand signs faster than Sakura or Sasuke could see and she finished holding the last sign and said my name is Nan Uchiha. I am the eldest of 4 children that our parents had and I am Itachi twin sister. When I was born father sent me away from the village because he did not want to have the Uchiha heir to be a woman. I have had Naruto-kun here watch you since he returned to the village and he even gave you a test I asked him to in which you chose revenge over your family. You have dishonored yourself and the Uchiha name several times, and the 3 that hurts me the most are when you chose your revenge instead of learning about me attempting to murder an ally in cold blood, and the last one was stealing jutsu from an allied family. For these crimes, I hereby strip you of the Uchiha family name and also sealing your bloodline forever. As she slammed her hands that were glowing now into Sasuke's head and chest as he screams as he falls to the ground. Sakura runs over to him and screams why did you do this? As she glared at Nan. Nan said because I am the clan head and he is nothing but a disgrace. Now on to announcing this to the village ready Hokage-sama. As she looked at the third. The third sighed and said whenever you are. As he walked toward the door that led out to the balcony. Once he stepped out he noticed the entire village was below and they quickly quieted down and the third said thank you all for coming on such short notice. Now the reason for this meeting is because of the current clan head of the Uchiha family Nan Uchiha, eldest daughter of Fugaku and twin sister of Uchiha Itachi. She has recently came to the village all these years after her family was killed and I will now present her to you to tell why she has only returned now. Nan, you have the floor. As he stepped aside. Nan stepped out and several council members' eyes got wide realizing who she was since the last time she was there and Nan said thank you Hokage-sama. Now as many of you are wondering why I did not return before now is because I was trying to decide on the proper course of action as well as fulfill the last request of my twin brother before I return. I am here to tell the truth of the Uchiha massacre and why Itachi actually killed my clan. I am also here to tell you all as of 5 minutes ago Sasuke Uchiha has been stripped of his clan name and his bloodline has been sealed forever. Getting gasped and cries of outrage. The third stepped forward and using a voice jutsu said silence. This was a clan matter and no one including myself has any right to argue with her. Now if anyone else interrupts her before she finishes I will have you meet Ibiki himself. He stepped aside and Nan said now the reason I did this was because it links to why my clan was killed. For many years now the Uchiha clan has believed themselves to be the betters of everyone including the other clans and the Hokage. In fact right before they were killed made plans to eliminate all clan heads the entire council and the Hokage and take over the village. Making everyone shocked by what they were hearing. Inside the Hokage office Sasuke's eyes were wide hearing this after waking back up while his head was on Sakura's lap. Back outside, Nan continued and said now that was only part of the reason my brother chose to kill our clan. That was the final time they planned something to try and take over the village. There were several times before that also. It sickens me by their actions, because they killed over 60 newborn infants in the hospital the day the Kyuubi attacked this village, making several people unsteady on their feet in shock. Nan sighed and said many of you are probably wondering why the oh-so-honorable Uchiha clan would do such a thing. The reason is simple. They planned to make a perfect weapon that would be under their control. My mother was forced to have another child that would have been a year older than Sasuke the day of the Kyuubi attack, because that child was supposed to be the only remaining child alive so they could seal the Kyuubi into him. However, the Yondaime had stopped that by using his own child who luckily was out of the hospital at the time. Now if you can't figure out what I am saying, then you really need to think. I am telling you the only way the Uchiha clan could have prepared in advance setting up the hospital wing to be destroyed as well as have a child born on that day who would be healthy enough to live through the sealing process as if they were the ones who caused the Kyuubi attack in the first place. Gasp and shocks and angry shouts came from the crowd. Naruto stepped forward and unleashed enough ki to make even the Hokage want to piss his pants, and he said shut up and listen. Nan Uchiha here is telling you all this for a reason and I want you all to listen to it. As he stopped and stepped back, Nan sighed and said thank you Naruto. Now, as for why I am doing this. It's the same reason why I waited until now to return. My brother when he came to kill me told me the true reason he killed the clan was because of those events. He left Sasuke alive to try and change the path of the Uchiha clan to try and regain the family's honor. However, he followed in our clan's footsteps and acted like everyone was beneath him and because of his bloodline he should get special treatment and nearly everyone in this village did just that. Now the final straw was 3 separate events that I have been informed of, which is why I sealed his bloodline away forever as well as stripped him of his name. The first reason was he attempted to murder a fellow student when in the academy which the council forgave him, the second reason was because he stole family jutsu from another clan, and the last thing was he was given a choice in a test. The choice was 2 scrolls. One scroll informed him about me and the truth about why Itachi killed the clan and the other had the name of the man who saved me and helped me kill Itachi, which is Naruto here who Sasuke at the time did not know it was him who took the credit for the kill when in fact I was the one who dealt the final blow. I asked Naruto to take the credit so I could observe Sasuke and see if he would restore the Uchiha name, but since he showed himself a true Uchiha and a disgrace by marking himself a missing nin, which was the only way he would be able to open the scroll with Naruto name in it. The council forgave him for that as well, because he was the last Uchiha. She waited several moments to let this sink in, and several of the council members paled and Nan continued and said now since the crimes the Uchiha family caused this village are too much to ever repay I have chosen to do the following. The Uchiha district is destroyed. As she held up a small remote and pressed a button and several explosions rocked the village. After several moments, they stopped and said next the entire Uchiha family wealth with the exception of 1,000 is hereby given to the Hokage to divide among the orphans of the Kyuubi attack and to those who lost family members because of the Uchiha clan's decision. I also give the land that consists of the Uchiha district to be turned into homes for all of those orphan children and anyone who does not have a home. The 1,000 I excluded from the Uchiha wealth will be given to Sasuke as the only gift he will ever receive from me. Now on October 20th I will be getting married to my fiancé, and on that day I want the Uchiha name destroyed from the record of history, and they will only be known as the traitor clan of Konoha, because that is what they were. When I am married the Uchiha name will cease to be passed on. I am also stating as my last act as the clan head of the Uchiha clan is that should anyone ever call themselves an Uchiha after October 20th, the punishment of such an act will result in a death sentence. The Hokage has already passed a law stating this at my request. I hope that this can help some of the people of this village. As of now, I only know of 3 people who ever acted as what an Uchiha should have been. One was Uchiha Obito, who died to save the life of his teammates. Another was my twin brother Itachi. Many of you think of him as a murderer, but I truly believe that his honor and loyalty to this village were never truer than when he saved this village from a civil war. The other is myself, who has ensured the Uchiha clan shall die in disgrace as it should have long ago. Thank you. As she turned and walked back inside, followed by Naruto and Angel. The third stepped back out of the balcony so everyone could see him and he said, I have been given proof of all the claims you have heard today, and as such I am forced to agree that Itachi Uchiha, though acting without permission of the leadership of this village, acted as any hero that has defended this village, and as such I am having his name placed on the memorial stone as an honorable shinobi who sacrificed his life to protect all of you. I hope all of you do some soul searching and do not link the crimes that the Uchiha clan did to Nan Uchiha. The reason she was not in this village was not just because they did not want their clan to be seen as weak. They sent her to someone who they ordered to assassinate her. The person who was to assassinate her chose to protect her all these years, and besides coming and revealing the truth of the Uchiha clan and legally destroying the clan because the council and I would not have been able to because of the laws, since it was clan matters, she has never once wanted to claim her family name and has been waiting to join the family she has been engaged to for over the last 5 years. Thank you all for coming. As he stepped back inside. When he got inside and closed the door, he saw both Sakura and Sasuke were gone, and the third said, it is done. Naruto asked, why did you do that, Nan? I mean truthfully. Nan sighed and said, I decided the only way to truly save my brother from Orochimaru was to get rid of the reason he wanted Sasuke, so destroying his bloodline was the only way to do so, and to do that I had to take up my name. I figured destroying the Uchiha name was a bonus, and hopefully my father is rolling over in his grave at the moment. Naruto saw the sadness in her eyes and walked over and hugged her, and Nan held onto him for a moment before tears finally started to fall, and Naruto said, Shoo, I know you never wanted to hurt Sasuke, but you did the only thing you could think to save him. Shoo, it's okay. Angel walked over and held her also, and the third stepped out of his office with Kakashi to give them some privacy. Across town, after taking several alleyways and rooftops, Sasuke was nearing the walls of the village with Sakura behind him, and he bumped into someone falling on his butt. The person had a swirling mask on with 2 eye holes, and said, hello Sasuke, Sakura. Tell me, would either of you like to get your revenge on both Nan Uchiha and Naruto Namikaze? Sakura, who was beside Sasuke, now looked at Sasuke, who clenched his fist, and asked, who are you? The man said, my name is not important, but I can give you both enough power to destroy both of them and get your revenge on everyone for destroying your family name and taking your Sharingan, but you could always take it from the dead body of your sister, so tell me, are you interested? Sasuke stood up and said, if you can give me the power, I would walk into hell to get my revenge. As he clenched his fist. Sakura said, me too, I want to get both of them for what they have done to Sasuke and me. The man nods, and before either teens knew what happened, a needle hit them in the back of their necks, and they passed out. A figure jumps down and said, what is your will, master? The man said, grab both of them and follow me, they will both make excellent sacrifices to get my revenge on Konoha the dopest slut Kyuubi and that dear sweet little lost Uchiha. Itachi, I shall enjoy looking into your eyes, Itachi, as I take away everything you hold dear. Revenge is a dish best served cold, and at the Chunin exams there will be a never-ending winter for my enemies. As he jumped to the trees, followed by the other man who grabbed both Sasuke and Sakura before he took to the trees. That night, after Nan calmed down Naruto, Angel and her went back to his apartment, and after a small dinner all laid together peacefully in each other's arms in his bed, not saying anything but enjoying being with the 2 other people they have come to love. The next day a knock was heard on Naruto's door, and Angel went to the door to answer it and saw Kakashi standing there and said, come on in Kakashi, what can I do for you today? As she stepped aside, letting him in. Kakashi sighed and said, the council requests Nan to come before them for some reason, and the Hokage asked me to come get her since I am one of the few who can actually get to Naruto's apartment. Angel sighed and said, alright, I will wake her and Naruto up. They both needed to be in each other's arms after everything that has been happening. I think much more, and they would have snapped under the stress and loneliness. As she walked toward the bedroom, Kakashi frowned and thought, I agree, Naruto been going downhill ever since the joint team broke up. A few minutes later, all 3 came back into the room where Kakashi was sitting, and Naruto asked, so what does the bastards want? Showing how he was not a morning person. Kakashi sighed and said, I don't know, but I do know that the Hokage and the clan heads are upset about it. Hayashi threw one of the council members through the door as he left the council chambers last night. Naruto rubbed his temples and said, let's get this over with. I finally got some alone time with my fiancés, and the council wants to ruin it. Nan said, I bet, since I made them look bad, they want revenge after I told how they pampered Sasuke. Speaking of, I wonder how he's doing today. Kakashi fidgeted and Angel asked, what? As all three looked at him, Kakashi rubbed his left hand and said Sasuke and Sakura both disappeared after the town meeting yesterday and have not been seen. The Hokage has Umbu out looking for them, but a few trackers found their trail leaving the village. Nan slapped her head and said, that fucking idiot. When I see him again I am so kicking his ass. Angel said, calm down Nan, you will need it to deal with the bitches. Excuse me, I mean council. Naruto said, well, no use putting it off, let's go deal with a few pricks. Nan said, damn, it makes me wish I was on my period right now. As she walked toward the door, Naruto blinked and asked why. As he looked at her, Nan said, simple, no court can prosecute a woman for killing a bunch of men when she is having mood swings from a period. Since most of the council outside of clan heads are men. Kakashi closed the door behind the three and said, remind me to stay on your good side, Nan. Nan smirked and said, your Rin pregnancy mood swings will cover anything I have for you. Kakashi paled as the other three laughed. Kakashi said, laugh it up Naruto, at least I only have one woman to worry about, you have to worry about too. Now it was Naruto's turn to pale. Around 15 minutes later all four made it to the council chambers and a pair of Umbu at the door stepped forward and said, I am sorry but only Miss Uchiha is allowed past this point. Naruto snapped his fingers getting both Umbu attention and he raised his finger up to eye level and both passed out on the ground and Naruto said, God, I love that move. Thanks for teaching it to me, Nan. Nan smirked and said, no problem, shall we? As she opened the door, Naruto opened the other and all four walked inside. As the council quieted down, Homura said, only Nan Uchiha was called for, why are the other three of you here? Naruto stepped forward and said, as the diplomatic liaison between Konoha and Wave, anything that concerns a citizen of Wave country that the council of Konoha calls for must have myself or someone I chose to be present for all proceedings. As for why Kakashi-sensei is here is because both Nan and Angel here are visitors here and have to have an escort, and since I can't be the escort because of my political situation, he is here. As for Angel being the co-fiancé to Nan, she is here to offer counsel should the need arise, and to ensure that no clan secrets are given. With a smirk. The Hokage smirked as well and Homura said, very well, because of the current political situation between our villages in regards to the treaty, Nan Uchiha is not allowed to leave this village until she sires at least 5 children or the treaty will not be recognized. Nan's eyes got wide and Naruto smirked and said, on what basis are you making these demands? The fact of the matter is, Nan is not a citizen of Konoha. If you try to say because she is a clan head of a clan of Konoha that makes her a citizen, then you should realize that anything she decides about her family will be protected under this village's clan protection rights. Also, if you are thinking you might try the old clan restoration law to keep her here, then you need to get your eyes checked because that law clearly states it only applies to males. Also, the fact of the matter is that when the treaty is to be signed, Nan will be a member of the Namikaze clan along with Angel here, and since the Namikaze clan is a Wave clan, Konoha has no say on the matter of her or any children she has. A civilian member said, this is outrageous. We can't have the Sharingan defiled by the likes of this boy. Naruto chuckled and then started to laugh hard, drawing everyone's attention, and Sim asked, what's so funny, Naruto-san? Naruto wiped a fake tear off his eyes, and said, I can't believe how stupid someone on the council can be. Let me tell you a little secret, pencil dick, the fact of the matter is if I die before I have any children, all Sharingan users in the world will immediately go blind. You see, as it was pointed out before in a meeting several weeks back, nearly all bloodlines come from a demon. Now both bloodlines of the Senju clan as well as the Sharingan all were created by Kyuubi, and since I am the only source of Kyuubi's chakra left on this planet, you get the picture. Whether you like it or not, I can defile the Sharingan any way I damn well please. The third said, as I stated to you all yesterday, you have no basis to make those demand for the alliance treaty Wave has offered. Homura said, I believe that you are wrong, Sarutobi. I believe I know of a law that will allow us to demand the continuation of the Sharingan to this village. Naruto narrowed his eyes, and the third said, and that would be. Homura said, very simple, Nan here has admitted to murder of an Umbu captain of Konoha, and has to be punished for her crimes. Since Uchiha Itachi name was cleared of all charges, she is hereby charged with murder, and Naruto-san here is accessory to murder. Now we could lock her away for the rest of her life or execute her, but because she is a special situation, I believe the council would see fit as to allow her to live normally in this village as a civilian, giving us the 5 children we requested. We will of course have to seal of her chakra and put a security seal on her to ensure she does not leave the village since she is a flight risk as well as a menace to society. I also believe the council would show compassion to Naruto-san here by simply banishing him from Konoha until Nan has paid for her crimes. The third said I refuse to agree to that Hamura. Hamura said, but it's not your decision after all, as Naruto so graciously stated. Nan is not a shinobi of Konoha, and since Wave's ranking system is not recognized yet means she is a civilian and as such falls under our jurisdiction. Naruto saw Nan fall to her knees and he quickly pulled her back to her feet and pulled her close while he cut his finger quickly. He slid a hand over a seal on his arm and running through hand signs slamming them on the ground. A frog appeared and Naruto quickly wrote something on a scroll and handed it to the frog, who went up in smoke, and he said, if that is what you want to try Hamura, then you and the rest of the council will hear Wave's official stance on Friday. Until then, should you try and touch myself or either of my fiancés, Konoha will immediate have war declared on it. We will stay in my apartment until then, and Kakashi here will act as a guard over us to ensure we do not leave the village. As he pulled Nan into a hug and left in a swirl of red flames, while Angel went up in blue flames. Kakashi sighed and said, I will ensure they don't leave the village until Friday. As he left in a swirl of leaves. The third said, Hamura, I want signature for yourself and each person who votes for what you have proposed. It will not pass without a majority of the votes, and I expect that on my desk before sunset today, because I believe you have just ruined a very good alliance for our village as well as other ramifications, and I want the village to know that it was you and whoever signed it that made this decision and not me. As he left in a swirl of leaves. Once Naruto appeared in his apartment, he immediately created several Kage Bunshin, and Nan, who was crying, asked, what should we do? I mean, I don't see any way out of this and I don't want to become a breeding factory. Naruto looked at her and saw how sad she was and said, she'll relax, everything is going to be okay. Just then Kakashi appeared and Naruto said, Kakashi, before your guard duty begins, can you get Rin and bring her here? We got a lot to do in a short amount of time, and if I don't get started fast, those civilian council members are going to cause the destruction of this village. Kakashi created a Kage Bunshin that left and said, I have to stay here because I am sure the council has someone watching your apartment. Naruto shrugged and said, let them, it won't stop me. Angel asked, what are you up to, Kit? Naruto said, you will see. Just then a puff of smoke appeared and the frog Naruto summoned earlier appeared with a scroll, and Naruto grabbed it and quickly read it and said, okay, tell Dad to get started. The toad nods and goes up in smoke again, and a swirl of leaves appear, and the third appeared and said, what are you doing, Naruto? Naruto said, stopping the idiots on your council. They want to play politics with people's lives, then let's see how they like it on the other foot. The third said, well, I got Hamura and whoever agrees with him signing a scroll saying they agreed to it, so I have proof of who agreed. Naruto nods and Rin appears in a swirl of leaves and Naruto said, good old man, now just leave everything to me and be ready for the fallout. On Friday things are going to go to hell, and I need you to be surprised with the council so you can act correctly. I would tell you what I am planning, but you never liked playing dirty politics from what I remember, and that's what I am about to do. The third sighed and said, no one is going to get hurt or killed, are they, Naruto? Naruto said, no one is going to die, but if things work like I got planned, then you may be able to get rid of all the civilians on the council once and for all. Now if you don't mind, old man, I need to talk with my fiancé and Rin privately. The third nods and leaves, and Rin asked, what is happening? After explaining everything to her about the council meeting, she clenched her fist and said, what do you need of me, Naruto? Naruto smiled a foxy grin, and Angel said, oh, I am so going to like this. Last time he had that grin, he shoved a kunai covered in explosive tags up Shikaku's ass. Naruto said, well. Over the next 3 days Rin was seen running all over Konoha, as well as several people in business suits. Finally Friday arrived and Naruto and Nan appeared in front of the council, and the third asked, so what is Wave's official decision of these matters? Naruto said, because of the majority vote that I have been informed of by the Hokage and sending the information to Wave, the following actions have been taken. The Yamanaka flower shop has been closed, and all merchandise from the store has been taken to Wave. All banks in Konoha have been relocated to Wave Country, and all accounts have been transferred with them, so if you have any money in the banks, then you will have to travel to Wave to get them. 1,100 civilians have been evicted from their homes. 96 businesses including grocery stores, restaurants, hot springs bars, gentlemen clubs, bookstores, hotels and other have all been closed as of the moment we walked into these doors. Thanks to advanced sealing have already had their buildings transferred to Wave as well. The new unfinished Shinen Stadium has also been relocated to Wave along with the Hokage Monument and several other things that have been owned by Wave Country and its people along with any place that had mortgages against them. That reminds me, the Hokage Tower also has been moved to Wave Country now because the village has yet to pay the loan back on the new upgrades the building received. Also, Konoha has lost the alliance it had with Spring Country and the Fire Lord says he is cutting out funding to the village because the council has shown it is not smart enough to govern itself. Now Hokage-sama, Jiraiya-sama and Tsunade-sama said because of the action of the council they officially resign as Konoha shinobi and now allied themselves fully with Wave. Just then an explosion was heard outside and Naruto said that must be our ride. They said anyone who tries to stop Nan or myself from leaving Konoha will be killed. As of now I hereby resign my commission to Konoha. As he dropped the headband on the floor and both him and Nan smirked as they left in red and black flames. The third Hokage was pale as he heard about what happened and just then the doors burst open and several ninja ran in screaming. The third unleashed a massive amount of ki and said Ibiki report. Ibiki stepped forward and said sir, most of the buildings in the village suddenly went up in smoke a few minutes ago and Gamabunta landed on the ground where the Hokage Tower used to be with Tsunade and Jiraiya on his head. Then Naruto and Nan both appeared on Gamabunta head and all four left. Also, the heads of all the Hokage but yours sir have went up in smoke as well. What should we do? The third looked at the council members who were all pale including the clan heads and said what can we do, the civilian council has just destroyed our village. As he slumped into his chair and thought, is this what you had planned all along, Naruto? To get your revenge by taking everything from us for what they did to you as a child. Just then a baby slug slipped across the desk in front of him and a small slip of paper appeared as the slug went up in smoke. Everyone was too shocked beside the third to see it and he took the paper and saw a seal on it and channeled chakra into it and a small scroll popped out. He opened the scroll under his desk and began to read. Dear old man, after careful consideration and discussion my father and I decided that enough was enough. Konoha has finally lost it and no matter how much I care for the village it's time for the will of fire to clean the underbrush out of the village to allow the mighty tree to grow strong again. Konoha itself is just a place. The people of Konoha are the true will of fire. I have sent clones, and they have talked to each of the clan heads these past days, and after reaching several agreements with them each of the clans have agreed to move to Wave to start over, and besides the ones in the room with you their entire clans are already in Wave. I have also talked to some of the civilians who have either been neutral toward me or have supported me in my time here, and they also have been moved by this. You have wanted to retire for years now, but held on out of guilt. Dad, and I offer you a job as an advisor to the Namekage. Tell the people of Konoha that it is no more, tell them to start a new life, tell the ninja if they want they can come to Wave and if they pass a simple lie detector test they may join our village at their current rank. The civilians can also, but if they fail the test then they won't be able to enter the village. The Fire Lord talked with Dad and after hearing about all that has truly been going on decided to support Wave Village instead. I'd never actually wanted this to happen, but the council forced my hand. I knew if you were told what I was planning you would have tried to talk me out of it or stopped me, but this is truly the only way. Also think of all the lives that have been saved, because Orochimaru does not have Konoha to destroy. I am sorry for any pain I caused Naruto Namikaze. The third read it over and over again and started to chuckle and finally burst out laughing. Several people stepped away from him fearing he has went senile and the third said, congratulations Homura, you have successfully destroyed Konoha. Ibiki, I want everyone to meet in front of the Hokage monument in 1 hour and I will tell everyone what is to happen now. As he laughs while walking out the door. Homura said, I think he has lost it. Hayashi said, no, I think you have. As he followed behind him after reading the scroll when he sensed chakra use from the Hokage thanks to his bloodline and thought, my clan made the right decision in joining the new village and thanks to the new seal promised by Naruto, our family could finally become one. This village held too many bad memories to do so fully before now. Several other clan heads were thinking similar things while waiting for the final curtain call. A few hours later a person was walking out the gates of Konoha and thought my master will be most interested in this new change of events. Now all the chickens are coming home to roost. It has been 3 days since Judgment Day, as it has been called, fell on Konoha. The third Hokage now lead around 1100 people toward the land of Wave. Konoha, the village hidden in the leaves, at one time housed over 8,000 people in it. With the clans completely leaving Konoha, as well as several business owners and their families who owed large debts to Naruto or the people of Wave, it dropped down to a little over 5,000 people. Now it is not widely known, but there are a lot of clans in Konoha. There were around 60 clans in Konoha, but only the main 13 are ever really recognized, since they have the most people, around 1,200 total in those 13. The other clans make up the around 1,000 total. Now after the Hokage made his speech telling how the council were the ones responsible for destroying the village, he offered the people the choice of coming with him, starting over somewhere else, or stay in what was left of the village. When the older generation heard it was the village Nan and Naruto were in, they immediately refused. The ninja of Konoha, who had been loyal to the Hokage, immediately agreed, which was nearly all the genin, most Chunin Umbu, and half of the jounins. Some decided it was time to retire, so they chose to go find a new life somewhere. Around 1,000 of the villagers and ninjas stayed in what was left in Konoha, and called everyone who was planning to leave traitor. The third side, remembering what Naruto note said, and he thought, "You're right, Naruto, the people of Konoha have lost themselves, and a cleansing fire was all that could save them. I had thought more than this would have come with me, but around 4,000 either stayed or decided to go find a new place to live rather than come to Wave." Kakashi, who was walking beside the third, said, "I believe this is for the best, Hokage-sama." The third said, "Just call me Sarutobi from now on. I am no longer the Hokage, since there is no longer a Konoha." Naruto was right about the village. It has lost sight of what made it special. I was blinded by my faith in the village, to have not seen it sooner. A voice said, "True, and that is why you are weak." Making all the ninja tense and look up, noticing a man wearing a black cloak with red clouds on it and a straw hat with a spiral mask on his face, and Kakashi was on defensive quickly and said, "Who are you?" The man chuckled and said, "Impressive, Kakashi, I only had to speak and appear in front of you before you even detected me. Of course my men that now surround you, and the others made sure the Genjutsu ensured that." As he waved his hand, and a distortion effect happened completely around the group, and nearly 1,000 ninja were around the group, and nearly every Konoha ninja thought, "How did they get so close without us detecting them?" A figure stepped forward and said, "What are your orders, master?" The third narrowed his eyes and said, "Danzo, what are you doing here?" As he looked at Danzo, and noticed that his arm had been replaced as well as his eye that he had lost during the war. Danzo did not answer, and the figure with the face mask said, "That depends on the old fool here. If he agrees to my terms, then I will not harm any of the people with him. Should any of you try to resist, then my men here will kill you all." A Chunin said, "What makes you think you can beat us?" A chuckle was heard that several people knew, and Orochimaru stepped out of the forest and said, "Because our master here is stronger than even me." Shocking all who was there. The third said, "Who are you? If Orochimaru here is not the one in charge, how do I know that you will honor your word to not harm my people unless you give me your name?" The man said, "My name is Shukchasu, and it's not exactly if you have a choice. The only option is how many of you will be alive if you don't listen to me. All you are really is bait, for who I really want. I only need a few of you, but the more I have the better odds are that he will come." The third looked around and noticed that none of his people could fight their way out, and this would be a slaughter, and the third said, "What is it you want of us?" Shiok said, "For you, Hokage-sama, I want you to continue to Wave Country and to deliver a message to the Dobe. Tell him I am waiting where I shoved my fist through his lunges, and he is to come in exactly 7 days to fight me there one-on-one. He can bring anyone he wishes to watch, and I honestly want him to bring his bitch and slut with him. In fact..." And before anyone could blink, Orochimaru's body fell to the ground as his head rolled across the ground to end at the feet of the Hokage. Shiok said, "Tell him that the fight will be him versus me, just like all those years ago. My own men will be there to watch over the prisoners, as well as to ensure no one interferes in the fight. If they do, then 10 prisoners will die." Kakashi narrowed his eyes and said, "Tell me, Shiok, how did you return?" Shiok chuckled and then laughed evilly and said, "I see you finally know who I really am, Kakashi. Good. To answer your question, it's real simple. After I became the Nanadame Hokage, it was really simple. I called a special meeting with all of our allies and villagers to discuss the disappearance of the former Rokudaime Hokage, and then when all the pathetic villagers and the Dobe's friends were standing in front of the Hokage tower, I used a forbidden jutsu I learned from Orochimaru files to return here, and it only cost the total of 10,000 human souls. At this everyone was wide-eyed and gasped, and the third said forbidden jutsu soul of time. As he looked at Shiok and said, "You're Sasuke Uchiha, aren't you?" Shiok chuckled and reached up to his mask and pulled it off and smirked and said, "Finally, a pathetic leaf ninja grows a brain. Too bad, it won't do you any good." Even after I turned traitor, killed hundreds of leaf ninja, joined Orochimaru as his apprentice, and then joined Uchiha Madara with his plans to destroy the village, the only person who was able to stop me was the Dobe, but he could not kill me because of the village wanting me alive for my bloodline, so he brought me back. Once I recovered, I first took his fiancée away from him, then I used her and threw her away. I then took his dream of being the Hokage. The day he was sworn in, exactly 3 days after the death of Tsunade the Godame Hokage, I told the council a traitor would be a better leader than a demon, and their hate for the big bad Kyuubi let them ruin his coronation, embarrassing him in front of all his precious people and the entire village, and named me the new Hokage. For the next 3 months, he was known as the 1-minute Kage, but that damn bitch Kyuubi offered him a deal. A chance to come back in time and change it where the leaf would not be destroyed, and to stop me. I admit it was fun watching him from the shadows, trying to be the big hero by saving nearly 20,000 people from across the lands who would have died over the years, and letting him find my bitch of a sister Itachi again and fall in love with her. That's right, old fool, I know exactly who Nan is. I remember shoving my hand through her heart and holding it as her last words were spoken before I crushed it. You know what her last words were. It wasn't "forgive me for killing our clan" or "sorry little brother." It was tell the Dobe that she was sorry, she had to lie to him to protect him, and she really did love him. Can you believe that? The bitch actually loved him. That's why when I prepared to come back in time, also I decided the best course of action would be to make her and him get close and then destroy then, and then let her watch as I kill her lover in front of her before I end her pathetic excuse of a life. Now your time is moving, you old fool, so you better get the message to the Dobe. In fact, tell him I want him in 5 days. You're still a half day from Wave, and it will take him 3 days to get to where we are to fight, and tell him Irika and Konohamaru will be the first to die. As 2 blurs moved and appeared next to Sasuke with Konohamaru and Irika in their arms with a kunai at their necks. The third paled and Kakashi said, "How can we trust you won't kill us before he arrives?" Sasuke said, "You can't, but I know the Dobe won't fight me for real unless his precious people are in danger, so I will keep you all alive until then. Men, round them up and let's move them to where I am to fight. If anyone attempts to fight or flee, kill him or her, and then the next 20 people around that person." Sasuke jumped into the trees and was out of sight within seconds. The third watched as the villagers and the ninja all slowly were led away. The third picked up the head of Orochimaru and thought, "I understand everything now, Naruto. I just wished you could have told me the truth yourself, but if you had, then I would have stopped you, since no one should play God. Looks like your past has returned." As he took to the trees. When the third arrived at the bridge to Wave Country, he saw the gates that used to be in front of Konoha on the bridge open wide, and if he had time he would have marveled at the sights, but for now he was searching for Naruto. Tracking chakra, he had nearly made it across the bridge when 10 people dressed in what looked like umbu appeared and one said, "Halt. Who are you, and why are you in a hurry?" The third cursed to himself and said, "My name is Sasuke Sarutobi. I am the Sandaime Hokage of Konoha, and I must find Naruto Namikaze quickly. The people I was bringing from Konoha here were all captured, and I was told to deliver a message or they will begin killing my people, including my grandson." One of the men flinched and said, "Follow me." As he turned and started running, the third started to follow, and 4 of the men surrounded him as they moved across the bridge and then toward where the hidden village of Wave actually was. 10 minutes later they arrived in the village, and the third was shocked by the size of the village, and the man who led him there said, "Namikaze-sama is currently in the Namikaze office." As they continued on their way by rooftop. Once they made it to the top floor of the Namikaze tower, the third burst through the door, ignoring the guards or the secretary. Minato looked at the third and saw he was panting, and the guards were ready to try and arrest him when Minato waved his hand, stopping them. They quickly left and Naruto walked in from one of the side rooms and blinked and said, Gigi, what are you doing here already? The third looked at him and glared and said, why didn't you tell me you're from the future? Minato and Naruto both paled and the third said, forget it, I don't have time to get answers. Sasuke Uchiha, your Sasuke Uchiha has also came back in time and is currently holding around 1100 of my civilians and ninja. He wants you to meet him where he said he shoved his fist through your chest. He said if you don't meet him in 5 days, then he will start killing them, starting with Irika and my grandson. Naruto dropped the scroll he had in his hand and said shit. Minato said, is that all he said? The third said, he said to bring anyone you want, but he hopes you bring the Kyuubi and his sister. Angel is Kyuubi, isn't she? Minato sighed and said yes. The third glared at him and said, damn it, when this is over you are explaining everything to me. If I don't like what I hear, I am summoning the Shinigami to take all 3 of our souls to hell. Naruto said, I am not letting him get Nan or Angel. The third said, it's not that simple. The way he talked, I think if they don't come with you, then he will start killing people anyways. He said that he wanted her to see her love die in front of her after her future self told him that she loved you and was sorry she had to lie to protect you. He said it was her last words, before he crushed her heart in his hands. Naruto's eyes flashed red and he said 2 hours. As he disappeared in a flash of red. Minato said great. As he quickly got up and started to bark out orders. 2 hours later Naruto was standing in front of Hero's Bridge, getting ready to cross it when he felt several chakra signatures approaching. Within a few seconds several people landed near Naruto and his face immediately hit the dirt as 2 pairs of fists impacted on his head. Grumbling, Naruto got up off the ground and dusted himself off and looked back only to flinch at the looks both his fiancées were giving him. Naruto said, what? Acting all innocent. Both Nan and Angel looked at each other before giving him a punch each to the face, sending him flying back onto the ground, sliding to stop at the feet of some of the others who arrived. Angel said, Kit, do you have any idea of how stupid this is? I mean, not to tell me or Nan about the little bastard being here? You can't make mistake against him. You're too even. Naruto slowly stood back up only to meet the ground again from another 2 sets of female fist. Naruto replaced himself that time with Jiraiya and said, stop it. As he looked at his mother and Tsunade. Tsunade said, brat, I know you can be stupid at times, but running right into his trap is not going to do anything but get yourself and those hostages killed. Naruto said, I am not running into his trap. This is something 10 years in the making. Neither of us are willing to back down, and anyone who gets in our way will die. Now, if you don't mind. I got some people to save. As he ignored everyone and took off across the bridge. Nan growled and said, God damn that asshole. Why the hell did I fall in love with an idiot like him? Angel said, same reason I did. He's too pure not to fall for. As she started across the bridge with Nan right behind her. As they started off, Minato appeared and said, see ya. As he took off, ignoring the looks everyone was giving him as he took off after his son. Before anyone could react, several blurs shot past the standing people as Kisame, Zabuza, Raiga, Nawaki, Jiraiya, Dan and Sarutobi along with several male Hyugas, Naras, Abure, Makimichi, Yamanakas and Inuzukas shot past them along with a few others. Tsunade said, why the hell are all men such idiots that they rush into battle? Haku, who landed beside her, said, because they expect us to save them. As she shot off across the bridge. Tsunade looked at Shizen and Kushina and said, Shizen, hold down the fort with my kids. I got some heads to club. Ready, Kushina? Kushina cracked her neck and said, I guess it's time for the Red Death to return to the world. As she took off across the bridge. Shizen sighed as she watched Tsunade and the others leave and thought, please come home safe all of you. Naruto was traveling when he felt the others slowly start to catch up to him and Nan pulled up beside him and asked as they jumped from tree to tree, what's the plan? Naruto said, simple, I take Sasuke and everyone else tries to get the hostages out of danger. Angel, who was on his other side, now asked, and what's your plan for your fight? Naruto was quiet for several minutes and said, one of us won't live past this battle. It's time for to end everything. Sarutobi caught up and asked, exactly where is the fight going to be, Naruto? Naruto looked over his shoulder and said the Valley of the End. It's where him and I had our first true fight. Ironic, it will be where we also have our last. Minato turned around and jumped in front of Naruto, still leaping from tree to tree but with his back facing the way he was heading, and asked, "So do you actually have a plan beside walk and bust heads and walk out?" Naruto smirked and said, "Yeah, I do. Nan, Angel, and I will head in. When you guys hear the battle start, head in and get the hostages." Exactly how the hell did he capture them in the first place, old man? As he looked at the Sandaime. The third said, "We were walking down the road when all of a sudden he appeared and then a genjutsu dropped and there was nearly 1,000 enemy ninja surrounding us. There was no way to escape. I still can't believe he killed Orochimaru just like that." Naruto stopped running and looked at the third and said, "You never said he killed Hibiteam. Is there anything else you forgot to say?" The third said, "No, why?" Angel said, "If you don't mind, tell us all about the encounter, start to finish one more time." As the others caught up with them, the third sighed and started to explain everything, and Naruto said, "So he had on an Akatsuki cloak as well as told you his name was Shikchasu. That means he was the one who killed Madara and the others. Dad, were we ever able to get a hold of the Jinchuriki of the Hachibi?" Minato thought a moment and said, "We got a hold of Ichibi, Nibi, Sanbai, Gobi, Rokubi and Kyuubi the Nanabi, and the Hachibi we were never able to get a hold of." "Why?" Naruto looked at his hand and said, "Then that means Sasuke has it." Getting several gasps from the people around him. The third asked, "What do you mean, Naruto?" Naruto sighed and said, "Originally Sasuke was the one who captured the Hachibi for Akatsuki. It is also the only ring that is not here. That ring was with Orochimaru originally, but since he's dead now, that means Sasuke must have it for himself. Sasuke would want any advantage he can get in battle." Minato frowned and said, "I got an idea, son." Naruto looked at him and Minato said, "Well." When Naruto, Nan and Angel arrived at the Valley of the End, Naruto's sweat dropped as he saw the people from Konoha in a cage above the valley, and saw several figures all dressed in sound uniforms except for two who were in Akatsuki cloaks on each side of a throne that Sasuke sat in. Naruto said, "Hello, team. You need that many men to equal me." Sasuke smirked and said, "Hello, Dobe, and for your information, my parents were married when they had me. Can you say the same? As for my men here, the only two who might fight are the two beside me. After all, they came back from the dead just to see your fiancés. Everyone else is here to watch unless someone else arrives and tries to interfere." Naruto snorts and said, "The best thing about you ran down your mother's legs, team. You're nothing but a reject." Nan elbowed him and said, "Don't talk that way about Mom. Dad may have been a bastard, but she wasn't. As for Sasuke being a bastard, he might have been. Mom had to get her satisfaction from somewhere since Dad was too stuck up to stick it in her." With a smirk, one of the figures beside Sasuke said, "And you would know about Uchiha sticking it in females, wouldn't you, Nan?" As he slowly reached up and removed his hood and mask, showing Nan who it was. Nan's eyes got wide and said, "You. Didn't I already end your life once, asshole?" The man chuckled and said, "Shut up, bitch. This time when I get ready to make you my bitch, I will make sure I break both your legs and arms so you can't attack me from behind when I take my pants off. I remember you hit me in the neck, knocking me out, and from what I was told you shoved me in a river to drown. Couldn't kill me with a weapon." Nan started to charge toward the figure, but Naruto grabbed her and said, "Calm down, Nan. Who is that jackass?" Nan took several breaths and said through gritted teeth, "His name is." Nan was interrupted by the man who said, "Shut it, whore. You have no right to speak my name. As for the baka beside you that wants to know my name, it's simple. I am Shisui Uchiha." Naruto's eyes narrowed as the name clicked and said, "So you're the guy who tried to rape Nan. I take it you've been resurrected by using the Edo Tensei resurrection to the impure world." Sasuke said, "Close, Dobe. I experimented with what I learned from Madara and Orochimaru and improved that jutsu to make it a true resurrection. It still requires a sacrifice of someone with similar blood to work, and I also require the ashes or the body of the person I am trying to bring back to life. Luckily for me, I had thought ahead for both these two here. I also have the ability to make them better by changing their bodies by adding other people's remains as well. You served your usefulness, Itachi. It was thanks to adding your ashes that these two both now have the Mangekyo Sharingan. With a smirk on his face, Naruto said, so you gave one guy an upgrade, and since you said it requires a similar blood relations, that means you must have used the Sasuke of this time to use. Sasuke chuckled and said yes. Can you guess the other person here? Naruto narrowed his eyes and said Sakura. The second person reached up and removed her cloak and mask, and Angel growled as she saw the adult Sakura from before they came back and said, hello Naruto-kun. Figures you would have to step down to sleep with a demon and a murdering slutty traitor because you never were man enough to please a real woman. As she shifted her hand onto her hip, striking a sexy pose. Angel growled and said, that bitch is mine. Sasuke stood up and pressed a button on a remote and a clicking noise was heard, and he said, now dope, I have just activated a bomb on the bottom of those cages that hold the people above the canyon floor. It is set to go off at sunset. The only way to save them is to kill me before then. Not going to happen. As he threw off his cloak, showing him in a set of snow armor. Naruto said, fine, it's time we end this once and forever, team. As he got into a fighting stance and disappeared from view. Sasuke likewise did, and then the sound of metal meeting metal was heard, and Naruto and Sasuke were matching each other in a sword fight. Angel said, let's go. Pepto-Bismol looking at you is giving me heartburn. As she jumped clear across the canyon floor and hit Sakura in the face. Shisui smirked and started using Shunshin to appear all over the canyon before appearing in front of Nan and threw a punch at her face only for Nan to block it, and she said, I am not a weak little girl like I was back then, bastard. As she sent a knee to his groin. Down on the water, Naruto jumped back and threw a kunai at Sasuke, who moved and backflipped over a leg sweep from Sasuke. Sasuke springboarded off the water trying to catch Naruto in the face, but Naruto ducked under the kick and punched Sasuke in the face, sending him skipping across the water. With Nan had her Sharingan and appeared behind Shisui and went to stab him in the heart, but Shisui went up in smoke. Nan bit her lips as she felt a kunai cut her side as she jumped out of the way and thought, damn it, this was how he beat me all those years ago. I guess I have no choice but to use that. As she ripped off her sleeve of her shirt and bit her finger and ran the blood across a seal on her upper arm, Shisui appeared right in front of Nan and was about to stab her when he was suddenly blown back by a huge release of chakra. Shisui was momentarily blinded, and when he looked up he saw Nan had a tail behind her and her hands were more claw-like and white chakra was running down her arm. Shisui narrowed his eyes and asked, what's this bitch? Nan smirked and said, a trick I learned from Rokubi. However, this is something I learned from my fiancé. As she disappeared and Shisui screamed as his arm exploded as Nan appeared in front of him. He quickly shushin away and held his arm as it regrew and said, let's see if you can match my speed. Soon both were nothing but blurs as one shushined and the other flash-stepped. Across the valley, Angel and Sakura were basically in an all-out bitch cat fight. There was no techniques. It was nothing more than biting, clawing, hair-pulling, and eye-gouging. Sakura's super strength was blocked by Angel's tails deflecting the blows, and Kyuubi cuts on Sakura healed nearly as fast as Angel's own. Naruto and Sasuke were now flashing through hand signs as lightning, fire, water, wind and earth flew everywhere, with neither actually calling out any techniques as they cancelled out. Sasuke was getting sick of this and threw 6 shurikens at Naruto, who pulled out 2 kunais and blocked the shurikens and then threw his own kunai only for Sasuke to jump out of the way. Naruto growled and pulled out 2 more kunais and threw them at Sasuke, who ran around valley floor. Sasuke had enough and ran up the wall and started to flash through hand signs, and a Chidori appeared on his arm. Naruto quickly formed a Rasengan in his own hand and glanced at Nan and Angel, and as Sasuke charged toward Naruto, he began one hand signs, and Naruto smirking was the last thing Sasuke knew before all hell broke loose. Up on the side of the canyon wall, the men who were watching the battle, each cheering on as Naruto and his fiancés were hurt, suddenly saw a white light engulf the valley floor. When the light died down, the cage that was above the valley floor with all the prisoners was now gone, along with Angel, Sakura, Nan and Shisui. Sasuke growled as he pulled himself out of the wall, rubbing his ribs where Naruto had kicked him before the entire valley floor was covered in the blinding light. He looked at the head of the Shodaime Hokage and saw Naruto standing there with his arms crossed and said, what the hell was that dobe? Naruto said, just getting rid of all the spectators so I could finally go all out. Sasuke said whatever they served their purpose, and once I kill you, I will track them down and kill them. As he pulled out his sword and started to charge toward Naruto only for birds to fly at him and explode, forcing him to start dodging as the sky was filled with several hundred birds. When the light died down, Nan and the others looked around and saw they were still in the Valley of the End, but Naruto, Sasuke and all his men were now gone. Shisui asked, "What the hell just happened, bitch?" His answer was a kick in the back of the head, sending him face first into the wall, and an angry shout said, "That's my future daughter-in-law, asshole." Shisui turned and went wide-eyed as now there were nearly 1,000 ninja, all with the weight hishits on their head, and before he had time to think he was suddenly getting pinballed around the valley by a yellow flash. While this was happening, Sakura was now being held by Tsunade, and Angel got up slowly, whipping the blood from her mouth, and said, "You have no idea how much I am going to enjoy this, bitch. This is for hurting Naruto-kun." As she held out her hand and a flaming Rasengan appeared in her hand, and she reached back and flung her hand into Sakura's head. As her head exploded, her body fell to the ground and began shifting to the younger Sakura body. When the yellow flashes stopped, Shisui was bleeding and panting hard as his body began to heal, and Nan appeared in front of him and began to stomp a mud hole in his balls, and as he cried out, every guy there was covering themselves, and as she began to lose steam, she looked at him and black flames shot out of her eye and hit his groin, setting it on fire. As they regrew, they were immediately burned off again and again. He screamed out for several minutes. Nan saw his healing was almost ended since it took longer and longer to heal, and she sent another burst of black flames at his head this time, and his body exploded and turned back into young Sasuke's body. When that happened, she looked over and saw all the prisoners were free, and the third was quickly talking to all the ninja from Konoha. Back with Naruto, him and Sasuke were now moving at speeds none of the people watching could even track. No words were spoken and jutsu were ignored. It was all out speed taijutsu and kenjutsu. Sasuke was getting frustrated and said, "Well, I guess I should just end this. You obviously are no match for me, so I think it's time I showed you the jutsu I used to help me defeat Itachi." As he disappeared and reappeared on the head of Madara. Naruto also disappeared and appeared on the head of the Shodame. Sasuke let the curse seal formed up to stage 2, and he then began making hand signs, and several Naruto appeared and began forming hand seals as well, except for the real Naruto, who had jumped into the air above the valley floor and using wind chakra to remain floating in the air. Sasuke said, "I hope you're ready to die, Dobe, but don't worry, my sister and that demon will soon be joining you. Say hello to Kirin." As he shot several balls of fire into the air and then quickly formed a Chidori. The sky began to crackle with lightning as Naruto opened his eyes and chakra began to shoot out of his body, forming a sphere, and the clones of Naruto all began shooting different elemental jutsu at Naruto, which were absorbed by the Naruto chakra dome he was in. The sky suddenly morphed into a creature of lightning that shot down toward Naruto. As the two hit, an explosion rocked the entire valley. Sasuke was laughing until he heard a voice said, "What's so funny, team?" Coming from inside the dust cloud. As the dust cloud disappeared, Naruto was seen there, slightly winded, with 9 tails flapping behind him, and all around him were ninja everywhere from not only Wave but Konoha. Sasuke's eyes got wide as several shouts of Kuchio Snow Jutsu was heard, and he looked on the other side of the destroyed valley wall and saw the slug boss, the toad boss, the new snake boss, an 8-tail fox, a huge 1-tail cat, a huge 5-tail weasel, with people all standing on their head. A shout of hidden mist jutsu from the water quickly engulfed the entire valley in a thick mist. Kakashi voice said from inside the mist, "Whoever has the highest kills gets a steak dinner from me." As he activated his one-eyed Sharingan, Sasuke for the first time became concerned, and Naruto said, "Now, Sasuke, let's have some fun." As he disappeared faster than Sasuke's true Sharingan could see, and he punched Sasuke in the face. Sasuke began to fly up into the air, only for Naruto, the birds from earlier, to start attacking him. As the battle began, the third appeared in front of Danzo with Enma in staff form and began fighting the old warhorse. Nan, who was still pissed off, was cutting through the sound means ruthlessly. Tsunade was punching the ground and grabbing the earth, throwing it at the enemy neens. Jiraiya had Gamabunta spitting oil as the fox boss was spitting fox fire as it engulfed several of the neens. Katsuya was spitting acid, cutting off any escape route the enemy neens might have had. The snake boss was eating any sound neens who got in its way as Anko threw kuniyas with exploding tags at enemy neens. As the sound Nins tried to use sound attacks to stop the wave in Konoha, Nin soon found they couldn't for some reason. The answer was the 5-tail weasel and 1-tail cat were both sending resenting purring sound that stopped all sound attacks. It was not long before the sound Nins were being wiped out because they sought quantity over quality. That's not to say there were no casualties for the Konoha or wave Nins, but for every one that did die, 75 sound Nins died. As the cleanup began, the sound of high-speed hits was heard and everyone saw above the valley 2 blurs were engaged in a full-out battle. No one could believe the actual power behind the attacks, and not even the bloodline users could see clearly. Naruto blocked a kick and threw a punch only to receive a roundhouse that he returned with a spin kick. Blow for blow, Sasuke and Naruto fought as 2 demons. Finally, both were sent from a punch each toward the valley walls. Just like the first time they fought, Sasuke climbed out in his winged demon form and Naruto said, "Sasuke, it's time to end this once and for all. No holding back." Sasuke wiped his mouth and said fine. As he wiped blood across the ring on his finger and black chakra began shooting out of his body. Naruto frowned and said, "I have no choice." As he ripped off what was left of his snow armor and began making hand signs as he wiped blood across the seal over his heart. Red chakra began to flare around him, getting gasped from all the older Konoha Nins as they felt the Kyuubi chakra, but what shocked them even more was as the chakra came out it quickly changed to blue. The Sandaime asked, "What's going on?" Angel said, "He's taking the last of my power. After this is done, his chakra supply will fully be unlimited. Just like Sasuke. This time when they meet, it will be whose body can hold out the longest." As she looked over her shoulder, everyone but Naruto and Sasuke heard her and then looked at both of them. Sasuke began hand seals and grabbed his hand as black lightning formed on his hand and arm. Naruto held his hand in front of him and a Rasengan began to form, but then the tails waving behind him each began to spin and tap the Rasengan as it changed shape. The older Nins all gasped as they realized what was happening with the Rasengan. Sasuke said, "Here I come, do prepare to die, Hachibi Chidori." As his wings flapped and he began flying toward Naruto. Naruto said, "This is the end, one shall stand and one shall fall, Kitsune Elemental Rasen Shuriken." As he leaped into the air toward Sasuke. Sasuke and Naruto both neared each other and time itself slowed down around both. As they drew back, they flung their attacks at each other, and as the 2 attack met, a white and black energy ball appeared around them, similar to what happened the first time they were here. As the 2 balls hit, everyone heard voices and they looked up and gasped as they saw both boys' life flash in the energy balls. Naruto in white and Sasuke in black. They watched every event of both boys' lives, past, present, and future. They saw how Sasuke was given everything as Naruto was also denied everything. One working hard and one getting the easy life. They were shocked by both boys' lives. They saw the war Akatsuki as well as every other thing that happened. Then they watched as Naruto's dream was taken and then how Kyuubi freed herself, and at first they saw how Naruto had planned to get revenge, but once he came back and saw the actual destruction, his forgiveness of them. Him pissing on Kakashi, shitting on the third, his training with Kyuubi, the deception they pulled to save lives, they all saw, and sadly. They saw how Sasuke became delusional, power-hungry, vengeful, and then how he destroyed the best thing they all could have ever hoped for. They then saw how he tricked all the people Naruto saved to sacrifice them to come back. How he killed future Sakura and brought her body to the past. They saw as he experimented on people, taking out Akatsuki, his plans for revenge, his stalking of Naruto. They saw his spy in Konoha, who was Mizuki in Sexy no Jutsu. They watched as he offered young Sasuke and Sakura a chance for revenge, and then how he used forbidden jutsu on them. They then watched as he planned to capture the Konoha Nins. They watched as the people back in Konoha who decided to stay were all slaughtered by Sasuke while he waited for Naruto. They then watched as the fight happened, and now that it was going at a speed they could see, they were shocked by both boys' fighting abilities. The air around the ball began to become unstable. Angel screamed, "Everyone get out of the valley, it's going to explode." As she grabbed a wounded man and jumped out of the valley. Everyone did as well, grabbing wounded or dead, and got out of the valley. Within a few minutes of everyone leaving, an explosion rocked the valley. It blew with the force of a volcano. As the dust cloud passed by the ninja from Konoha and Wave, they all began to run toward the valley. In front was those closest to Naruto. When they got there they were all shocked as both Naruto and Sasuke were still standing but had a sword in each of their chest as their body were leaning against each other with Sasuke head on Naruto's shoulder and Naruto on Sasuke. Neither was moving. Nan and Angel quickly appeared by Naruto and shoved Sasuke's body away as they lowered Naruto to the ground softly. Tsunade quickly began working on him and for the next 40 minutes she continued to try and save him. She finally had to stop and fall back on the ground panting and Kushina asked in a sacred voice, "Is he going to be okay, Tsunade?" Tsunade looked at her and said, "There's nothing more I can do for him. He's dying." Kushina sighed at that moment and then asked what's wrong with him. "Why can't you help him?" As she gave a sad look toward Tsunade who was giving her one as well. Tsunade said he is no longer producing chakra. As his body uses what he has left, he will die. Angel said then, "So will we then." As she looked at Naruto. The third who was looking at Naruto asked, "What do you mean?" Angel said, "We're linked. Everyone has to pay the Shinigami sooner or later when you mess with his domain. Naruto, Nan, myself, Minato, and Kushina will all die. There's nothing we can do about it." Just then Naruto started to cough up blood. Nan lifted his head up and placed his head on her lap as she wiped the blood of his face. As everyone slowly circled around Naruto, hair started to change from normal blonde to gray and his body started to age. Nan, Angel, Kushina, and Minato also started to age at an incredible rate. Sasuke coughed, drawing everyone's attention, and Kushina said, "You got to be shitting me." As she walked over to Sasuke's body and pulled Naruto's sword out of his chest and said, "See you in hell." As she sliced his head off and then placed Naruto's sword on his chest. At this time, she looked to be about 50 years old. Jiraiya looked at Minato and said, "Looks like I am going to lose you again, kid." Minato sighed and nods and said, "I have one last request, Jiraiya-sensei. When we pass on, will you take our bodies to Samato Island to the shrine there?" Jiraiya nods and said, "Yes, my family will honor your last request, brat." Minato nods and Angel, who looked to be about 60, said, "Rin, Kakashi, Anko, Zabuza, Haku and Raiga, can you all come here for a moment?" As the 6 people walked forward, Angel said, "I want you all to do follow my hand signs. It's the release jutsu for the memories that we gave you guys to help us. It will take away the side effect that might happen when we die." Jiraiya, Tsunade, Shizendan, Kisame, and Nawaki have already done them before since they already had enough painful memories. Each of them nodded their heads and began following the hand signs. After nearly 2000 they said, "Memory life release." And each of them glowed. As the light died down, Minato, who looked to be about 90, said, "Sarutobi, I have one final request. Can you finish training the next Namekage? It appears that neither myself or Naruto will be able to. We have already nominated Zabuza as the next leader. He may be a little rough, but he is loyal and also a very good judge of character." The third said, "I will, Minato." Naruto slowly opened his eyes and looked at Nan and Angel and said, "I am sorry I didn't get to marry you both. I hope we see each other on." As his eyes glossed over and his chest stopped moving. Moments later, Nan fell across him and Angel fell beside him also. Kushina and Minato kissed one last time as both fell to their knees before passing away. Everyone looked down in mourning of the ones who died. Jiraiya walked over and pulled out a scroll as he sealed each of their bodies. The trip back to the hidden village of Wave was a sad event. When they returned, the word spread about the loss of the 5. Within a few days, Jiraiya chartered a private boat for Tsunade, Shizen, Nawaki, Dan and the kids along with Kisame and Yujito. As they were preparing to leave, several people came by to offer gifts they asked to have put on the graves of the 5 lost loved ones. Finally, all that was left was the third Zabuza, Kakashi, Rin, Anko, Haku, and Raiga. As the boat was pulling away, the third said, "So, how long is this little act going to go on?" Making the 6 other look at him funny. Kakashi asked, "What do you mean, sir?" The third said, "I translated the agreement that was placed in the Namekage Tower. I know the sake you all drank to get the memories made you each have a form of immortality. I also know the jutsu you all did before the deaths must have been the cancel jutsu. So that means you all can live normal. I know with everything that happened Naruto would not have been able to come back and neither would Nan Angel, and I know Kushina and Minato would not leave them after being returned together, so I assume the whole death was an act. A figure stepped out of the shadows with red hair and green eyes, and said, just proves how wise you truly are, old man. The third looked at the figure and said, so what's to happen now, Naruto? The man said, it's a long journey to the island of Samato. A single ship could easily be lost at sea by a storm. All hands on board could be lost. The third said, I see, so why the whole death scene? Why not just leave? The man said, the final curse the Jinchuriki must bear, old man, is we must create 100 descendants. Kami won't let us die until we do, so those who have bloodlines won't die out when we do. Humans in general are stupid and greedy. Immortality and power are too interesting to be ignored. Sooner or later, people would have tried to use us for weapons breeding factories and other such deals. This way we all die out. Kisame and Yujito have fallen for each other. I think it's because he looks like a fish and she's part cat. Nan Angel and I are all tired of fighting, and the people I saved are not the same ones I grew up with. The fact I know them from my past makes dealing with them incredibly difficult. As for how we pulled that off, it was all a kitsune illusion. Please don't hate the ones here or reveal our existence. They only did what was necessary to ensure the future of everyone we hold precious. We plan to take our ship beyond the farthest island and explore the Great Sea. We have enough food and scrolls to last 200 years. In that time, we will either return to this land where we will be nothing but legends or find new lands where nobody knows us. I hope you understand, old man. The third sighed and said, I do. I just wish I could see my grandson finish growing up. The man smiled and said, don't worry, you will. I made one last deal with death. I gave him my last memory sake and asked him to allow our precious people to see what happens with us until we can join you on the other side. I will miss you all, and my family said to please live a long, happy and good life. Have kids, get laid, drink, and above all enjoy your new future. From those of us who are immortal. Goodbye and good luck. As he went up in smoke and in his place was a scroll. Haku bent down and picked the scroll up and opened it. As she did, the scroll exploded and every one of them was covered in tie-dye paint. Out at sea on the boat, the captain of the ship changed into a blonde with whiskers and laughed as he heard several shouts of his name. He set the boat on auto and stepped out on the deck and said, well everyone, Gigi sent his regards, so I hope everyone is ready. Our new adventure begins. Yujito, who was sitting in Kisame arms, said, quit being a drama queen, Naruto, or I am going to start calling you emo. Naruto pouted and Minato said, you know, dye his hair black and change his eyes to brown and he would be a poster child of an emo with that look. Kushina hit him over the head and said, remember that when you're sleeping on the couch, bud. At this everyone laughed. Shizen sighed and said, I am going to miss my friends, but I love being with my family. As she held Nawaki. Angel said, so I say in about 2 months we should be able to find and reach an island that used to be known as Hawaii. It's a tropical paradise. Nan said, I can't wait. Once we get there we can get married and then start our family. Kushina said, I hear you, too bad I am going to have to take it easy then, after all, Naruto going to have a little brother or sister then. Naruto got wide-eyed and Minato fainted. Tsunade laughed and said, yeah, good thing Shizen's a registered nurse since I am in the same boat. Dan and Jiraiya fainted and Shizen said, me too. And Nawaki fainted. Naruto's sweat dropped and said, if either of you say you're pregnant I am swimming back to wave. As he looked at Nan and Angel. Angel said, no, just PMS. Nan said, really, me too. Naruto looked down and said, Kami, why the hell do you hate me? Naruto couldn't be for sure, but he could have swore he heard someone say because I can. The end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There is also a link in the description to my Patreon. It has Naruto fanfiction that cannot be posted on YouTube. There is some free content on there. So, you don't have to be a paying member to enjoy listening to excellent fanfiction.